First things first, Arne Slot, I was not familiar with your game, King. I wasn't. And I'll be the first one to say that I was incorrect on that last video. There were worries, obviously, but Arne has adjusted it and fixed it and went with the same formation that he went with Aston Villa, which is actually kind of crazy. And I've said this in the last video, and then I said this pretty much throughout the entire time that I've had this YouTube channel, is that you have to go out and earn these points. Football is played on the pitch. It's not played on paper. And everyone that was writing off this Arsenal versus West Ham game that Arsenal was just going to run away with it, they were wrong. And I was wrong about it, right? So you still have to go out there and put performances out there on the pitch. And Slot in this Liverpool side continue to find ways to do that. They can continue to find ways to not only just win, but not lose as well, right? Which I think is the name of the game. If we want to boil down football to that, to the essence of it, is win more games than you lose, try to win as many games, more games than you draw, and if losing is an option, try to turn it into a draw, which Slot has been able to do. The 4-4-2 worked today, right? And I think it worked in the last match, but I think the clinicality of the front line wasn't there. It was today. And the way that 4-2-2 sets up, it traps those wide backs, which we know Pep loves to build out of the back from, and it boxed KDB and Foden out of the game. I mean, there was times where KDB was going wide right on that wing and hugging the touchline to just get a touch of the ball, and Foden was trapped in between Ryan, Maka, and VVD, and Ryan was pretty much man marking him the entire game and harassing the man. He couldn't really get a touch on the ball. Marmoush did get a couple chances. The jury's still out if he's an actual Premier League product, but his finishing looks really good. But the way that Slot set this team up was efficient, man. They barely broke a sweat. They worked very hard in that first half, but the second half, it was cruise control. And it was very interesting because this isn't essentially how we've known a Slot side to really set up, where we sit back deep. We're very solid defensively, and we try to capitalize on the counterattack. It was almost like how other teams set up against us, we set up against Manchester City today. And the appointment of Slot has to be noted, man. It can't be taken lightly. FSG did their thing with Klopp and to Slot. To be able to appoint two masterclass managers just back to back is absolutely insane, man. We go 11 points clear. You gotta love it. I'm seeing Leo pop up on my phone right now. He's loving it too. If you haven't, subscribe to this channel, okay? Tell us where you're watching from. We're watching all over the world right now, from France to the Netherlands to the United States, Rhode Island, and New York City. We're everywhere. So make sure you guys put where you're watching from. Show some love down below. Give us a like. Give us a like if you think Liverpool's winning this title, baby, because I think it's happening. This Liverpool team that Slot has put together, reassembled, really. It isn't even a put together, reassembled from the Klopp team, just looks completely different. It's absolutely insane. And they've gone up. I've heard the commentators talk about this, that they've gone up 4 and 5 levels, especially that man, Dominik Szoboszlai. Let's get the man of the match out of the way. Dominik Szoboszlai. Dominik Szoboszlai. Dominik Szoboszlai. Tell me who your man of the match was in the comments down below. I know some people are saying VVD was immense, Ibu was immense, which they were. Our defense was absolutely out of control today. Mo Salah doing his thing again. 30 goals, 20 assists already, 50 goal contributions. It's February. Come on, bro. That's a joke of a footballer. And I think we look at players like Doku, right? I mean, we look at players like Mo Salah. Doku, if you look at it on paper, the highlight film of Doku today is going to look sick. The clip farming from Doku today is going to look sick. But let the clip keep playing. The end product is abysmal. And that's what I'm talking about. When people make up that argument of Salah versus Hazard, or Salah versus whoever else plays Jogo Bonita, right? I'd rather have the guy that gets me 50 goal contributions versus the guy that beats his man and then crashes it into the next defender right after 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row. Because someone is going to make that edit of Doku against Trent and say, Trent got cooked, Trent got destroyed. But if you actually watch the game, you know that this maybe was by design, by Slot, it was the Discord called it a honeypot, right? A honeypot tactic, where Doku kept going back to the well on Trent, but it wasn't amounting to anything. They weren't getting chances from it. Ibu was cutting it out every time. VVD was cutting it out every time. Even Robbo would come in and sweep in. Maybe Trent's job actually wasn't to stop Doku. It was to give Doku the feeling that he was getting success on that wing, just to stop him and stomp him out on the second attempt. Masterclass by Slot. Masterclass by Slot. And Ibu and VVD were immense today. Two of the best center backs in the league, in the world right now. Probably our best two center back pairings ever. This team, the shape that we were put in today, they were up for it, man. And Slot's tactics were at that same level. And this is what happens when a manager and a team are in sync, and the team believes in the manager's vision, and the manager believes in the team, but holds them to a high standard with no favorites, right? He plays the players that produce, and that shows today with Diaz or with Jota and Nunez on the bench. Another manager would have continued to go to the well, continued to go to the well. Well, he's my only forward. These are my only forwards right now. Slot said, "You guys aren't performing, so I'm going to change the shape. We're going to play in a 4-2-2. I'm going to reward Jones for being good this season. I'm going to reward Szobo for being good this season. And I'm going to play them in a position, in a shape that probably suits them more than the 4-3-3 does." Because we saw them absolutely outplay this Manchester City side. And I know Manchester City haven't been great this season. I get it. But it's still Pep Guardiola. It's still Manchester City. And the way that they systematically took them apart, the way that Szobo was able to track back, be physical, be athletic, but still create goals and score them themselves, with Jones being robbed of that goal of himself. I mean, just offside from Szobo. That would have been a fantastic goal for Jones, who has been outstanding today. Let's not forget about Maka, who put in a near man of the match performance as well. Him and Ryan were outstanding in that midfield, and they worked their asses off in that first half to get us control. And I know in the Discord, some of us were kind of worried about the 4-2-2 because it didn't pan out the way that we wanted it to in the last match against Aston Villa. But there were some of us in there, Reese in particular, was talking about the control in midfield, that Man City were putting four forwards forward with Savinho, with Doku, with Marmoush, and then Foden, right? You want that control in the midfield, and then we got that. And KDB, having those labored legs, being older, wasn't able to keep up with our younger midfield, and we just flooded it. We just flooded the midfield. They could get nothing off. It was just passing around, trying to find a route in, give it to Doku. He gets past Trent, stomped out. Corner, we get it back, go the other direction. Beautifully done. And we controlled the game in every aspect except for the way that you would typically think, which is possession. Absolutely outstanding from Arne Slot today. The competence of this entire team, from top to bottom, from coach all the way to role player and Indo. It's got to be, this is championship stuff, guys. This is what you want from a championship side, where every single guy on the team knows their position. They know what their role is in the squad, and they are okay with it, and they're ready to come in when their chances are given. Slot talks about it with Darwin Núñez in that miss from last week, that he wants everybody to be like Wata, like Indo, where you may not get the opportunity, you may not get the chance, but you are ready at all times. You work hard, you put your head down, you kill it in training, and when your number is called on, you come in. And that's what you want. And the resting on the ball has to be noted as well. We gave possession so we could be ready for Newcastle in the second half. We said, you know what? We did our work in that first half. Have the ball, try to break us down. We're going to rest on this ball here. And and I bring this up almost every video now. We are one of the last teams in the league in distance covered, which is insane. To go from a Klopp heavy metal style, where we were always in the top 5 in terms of distance covered, miles traveled for the team, to be in the bottom 5 is absolutely crazy. I think we're 22nd in the league in that. And it's by design by Slot and his team. Master class. Who would have thought we'd be 20 points clear of Manchester City at the beginning of this season? Nobody. No one. I was wrong. You was wrong. Everybody was wrong. Arne Slot is special. This Liverpool team is special. And these players are showing their worth. I'm glad that Dominik Szoboszlai has now decided to step up and be a key player for this team, because he's helping Mo Salah. He's helping Mo, because Mo is doing a lot of the work. Szobo stepping up at this time is big boy stuff. I love it. So, to do this away is impressive. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Games like this is a hallmark of a championship side. And all the results in the last month, honestly, now I'm looking back on them, they actually were too. We just weren't seeing it. I just wasn't seeing the vision. To be able to come out of the skid, right? The skid with one loss is insane. And to be unbeaten away, to go to everyone else's ground and get results. Oh my God, man. I don't think we understand what's happening now. This is a special season. I was wrong. I'll say it again. I'll admit it. This team finds ways to win, and when they should lose, they find ways to not lose. And that is the hallmark of a championship side. The goals, beautiful set piece. Szobo setting that up, knowing where Salah is going to be, straight off the training ground. Finally, we score a set piece goal. Chef's kiss. Mo Salah to Szobo. They both get a goal and assist today. They look like the new Stevie and Nando out there. Long may it continue. 11 games left. 7 at Anfield, baby. 7 at Anfield. Still unbeaten away. Y'all gotta understand what this means. So what's next? We got Newcastle at home. We gotta put in the work. We gotta put this one away. I said this on X the other day and in the Discord. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, we got 7 more games to go, right? If we bag these next 7, I think if we get this next one, it's wraps. I think we put the championship in the bag. Put it in the bag. I think we got 2. This was 1. I think we got 1, maybe 2 more games to go before we break Arsenal and it's over. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm lit today, bro. Enjoy your Sunday. You'll never walk alone. Up the Reds. Up the Reds, boys. Up the Reds. The most successful team in Europe. Oh, the most successful team in England. We the most successful team in Europe. Forget it, bro. Give it to us, bro. We coming for another Champions League this season, too. The sky is the limit for this Liverpool team. And the fact that we're doing this with no signings, you just wait until Arne Slot is able to get some of the players that he wants in. Be on notice, boys. Peace.